Alright, so today, as you can see, we're going to be taking a look at some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles figures. Specifically, these are the LARP Ninja Turtles, the live-action role-play figures. Finally found these guys at my local Target. Been looking for them for a while. Up until this point, I hadn't picked up any of the Turtle variants outside of their first release and their Battle Shell figures. Didn't pick up their Ooze figures, didn't pick up their Stealth figures. I didn't want to end up with a ton of different Turtle variants in my collection, given the limited space I have for stuff at the moment. But when I first saw these, I had to get them. I loved the episode, and these guys are just too cool to pass up. So wanted to start real quick with them in their packaging, just point out some things that I've noticed offhand before opening them up. We'll start off over here with Leo. Here's Leo the Knight. Standard Turtle packaging. I just thought I'd show them off in package real quick. And one thing you notice right away is here in the picture he has red shoulder pads with the numbers painted white, and the figure itself has blue shoulder pads and the numbers are not painted. So that's just one thing I wanted to point out real quick that was different between the photos on the packaging and the figure itself. Put him off to the side. We got Raph the Barbarian. He looks very cool. I'm not seeing offhand, well, I'll take that back. There's like some buttons that are painted the silver in here on his belt. You can see that. And it is not painted on the figure itself. And that's not really to be expected, honestly. That's some real detail stuff right there. And these are, you know, $9. Put him off to the side. Let's see if Raph will stand. Next we've got Mikey the Elf. Very nice. Again, if you look, you see he's got this little medallion or something on his strap that's painted, and on the figure itself it's not a big deal. But I'm kind of disappointed in how warped his bow looks though in the packaging. That's a little frustrating. Set him off, and last we've got Donnie the Wizard. Very cool. I love his look. Right away, even without looking at the picture, you'll notice that his teeth and his mouth are not painted, when they obviously are down here in the photo. And if you look at the back, he's got his teeth painted in. So that's a little disappointing. The stars and stuff on his jacket aren't painted. So he's missing a bit of detail on his paint, which is disappointing. But paint apps missing is nothing new for the Nickelodeon Turtles line. You know, not enough for me not to pick them up at $9 a piece. I really enjoy the way they look, and I'm looking forward to getting these guys open and seeing how cool they are. So, without further ado, let's crack these guys open. Alright, here we have the LARP Ninja Turtles opened up and out of their packaging, and they are really pretty neat. They do have some issues, at least a couple of them I have some issues with, but we'll get into that. But here you have the four of them together, and we'll look at each one of them individually, and we'll start over here with Leo the Knight. Now, it does appear to have the same basic molding as the Battle Shell Turtles did, with his knight armor. The helmet is removable. The helmet looks very nice. He has the blue on it. Nice detail in it, like that trash can type lid. Very cool. It's a soft, bendy plastic. Put that off to the side for a second. He does have his knight sword here, and his trash can lid, or as a shield. He's got his belt, he's got his shoulder pads, and his cape, which is that same bendy plastic. And he's got his ducky here on the back. There is some numbering or lettering here and molded into the shoulder pads, but they're not painted like they were on the packaging, unfortunately. He's got some nice silver arm guards. Very nice. A nice face sculpt. Articulation is pretty good. He doesn't look up and down. He looks side to side. Shoulders go up and down. Rotate. Bend at the elbows that far. Rotate at the elbows. Rotates at the wrist. Nothing waist articulation, but the legs go forward and back that far. They'll rotate up here at the thigh. They'll bend at the knee. Not super far though, unfortunately. They'll go forwards too, which is odd. And that's about it for articulation. Now the one frustrating part with Leo that I have is like his shoulder pads don't go down as far as I'd like them to go. They kind of sit up high. And so when you take his helmet and try and push it down like it should be, the shoulder pads get in the way. And if you're not careful, the shoulder pads will pop that helmet up. So now that's no longer where it's supposed to be. It's not doing it at the moment, but if you give it time, the shoulder pads will pop up and push that helmet up. That's a little frustrating. But I do like the way he looks. He'll look good on the shelf. Set Leo off over here to the side. Stand Knight Leo. And we'll go to Raph the Barbarian. Now, Raph has his barbarian outfit on. It's actually very nice. Everything's a hard plastic that's on Raph. There's no soft plastic in his costuming. Nice detailing in the outfit too. Like his belt. It's not painted like it showed on the packaging, but that's not a big deal to me really. His helmet comes off too, and we'll take a look at it real quick. Very nice barbarian helmet. This horn's at an angle. Got the red on this side. Skull here in the front. Nice detailing. A nice little slit here in the back for where his headband can go. That's a very nice touch. And his helmet will slide right onto him without, and just make sure you line up the headband without any issues at all. And it looks very nice on him. Weapon he has his axe, which he can hold. Very nice. Articulation is the same on him, so I'm not going to go through it all again. He doesn't bend forward any more than that because of the molding here on his costume. So you don't get any more of a bend than that on him. Knees bend that much. But everything else, you get a little more head movement out of him, maybe. Oh, I say that. Oh, that was stiff. Yeah, a little more head movement. Pop that back on. But all in all, he looks very nice. This arm, the arms don't go any further down by the body than that because of the costume, but that's alright. Let's see here. Sit you back there. Actually, sit you back here. Come to Mikey. Mikey the Elf. Very, very nice. Love his costume. It's not super bulky. It's nicely detailed. Even got his quiver on the back with some arrows in it. Nice green and orange on his costume. Belt around him. He's got his bow in his hand. This is, you know, warped a little bit from the packaging. But really it doesn't bother me that much, honestly. I don't even really bother with trying to fix it or anything. His elf hat and ears do come off. There are some nice detailing in that. And this slides over onto his head pretty perfectly. Nothing you have to worry about with him. His articulation is just like the others. Really probably the best of the three we've seen so far because he doesn't have any bulk of the costume that gets in the way of any of his movements really. Nothing's really restricted on Mikey. So that's nice. Really like Michelangelo. He's nice. Now, my favorite turtle has always been Donatello. So it's really disappointing for me to say that my least favorite of the LARP turtles is Donnie. Here's Donnie. He's the wizard. I'm going to take his wizard hat off for a second. Now, his wizard coat is not the soft plastic that we got on Leo. It's a hard plastic, so it doesn't move. And his arms, first, the joint on this one is really loose, which is frustrating. But Donnie doesn't have any elbows. And that's really disappointing considering all the Ninja Turtles in the lines have had the best articulation. He has no elbow joints. So that's a bit on the disappointing, frustrating side. He does swivel at the wrist. His head will turn and look up and down a little bit. And get that far back on his legs because of his coat. He bends just like his knees do in all the other turtles. Rotate as well. But the lack of an elbow joint is really disappointing for Donatello. He's got his wizard staff, which looks like his bow staff with a little thing up the top here. And to complete his costume, he has his hat and beard, which has some nice detailing on it. It looks good. And that slides right over on him too, pretty nicely. Kind of covers his eyes a little bit, but it looks nice on him. Those look good. There is some nice detailing in the jacket, I will say that. It's not painted, so it's hidden in that all purple. But the detailing in the jacket is nice. The stars. This would be nice if they had picked it out with some paint applications, which you could go in and do yourself if you wanted to. I'm awful at that kind of artistic stuff, so I will not even bother or try. So, there you have the live action roleplay or LARP Ninja Turtle set. Leo the Knight, Raph the Barbarian, who just fell over. Stand up, Raph. Mikey the Elf, and Donnie the Wizard. My favorite of the four is probably Michelangelo, followed closely by Raph. Then Leo, then pains me to say it because he's my favorite of the turtles, but then Donatello brings up the rear just because of his costume, that hard plastic jacket, and the lack of elbows really sort of bothers me. But I'm very happy to have them. They're going to look great on the shelf. I think they look fantastic. Love the costumes. I think it's a really nice touch for the turtles themselves, and these are the off-the-wall costumes. If you're a turtle fan, I highly recommend picking these guys up. I mean, if you're not collecting the line to start with, these aren't going to make you change your mind all of a sudden. But if you're watching the cartoon, you saw this episode, pick these guys up if you see them. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a comment down below, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel. Lots of cool things coming. See you guys soon.